Serving up a warm dish of the Triad's culinary fare, here's your weekly helping of food, news, and views. This is The Man Who Ate the Town.
Hey folks, and welcome to episode 194 of the Man Who Ate the Town podcast. This is for the week of April the 12th through the 18th, 2021. My name is Tim Beeman.
My name's Ray Morgan.
And we are opening the recipe box. We are recording this episode of the Man Who Ate the Town in the Less Desirable Studio South, also known as my house. We are practicing social distancing and using Zoom, sponsored by Bull's Tavern. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcatchers like Apple Podcast, Stitcher, or Spotify, or anything like that, we'd appreciate a like, a follow, a rating, and a subscribe if you can. It would help us more than you know. It would help us tremendously. And if you're listening to us on the Triad Podcast Network, welcome and thank you.
My house is a very, very, very fine house.
I love that song. I always have. I always will.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
My house.
That's
It's a very, very, very fine house.
And I also love the Our House in the middle of our street. I like that one too. This episode of The Man Who Ate the Town is brought to you by Mojito Latin Soul Food. Mojito Latin Soul Food is your go-to Cuban and Latin-inspired restaurant. The good news is, Ray, they have reopened their dining room this weekend. They had been takeout only due to staffing issues, which you'll hear a lot today. But they're back open. Their Cuban or Cubano sandwich is hands down the best sandwich in town, according to The Man Who Ate the Town. All the flavors punch you in the tongue, and the sandwich is made in the tradition that Michael Millon grew up with. And you know that the Mojito Burger will be on the Burger Tour. Mojito Latin, why do I always do that? Mojito Latin Soul Food does reservations, takeout, have a large outdoor patio, and do deliveries to surrounding businesses like Fiddling Fish, Broad Branch, and Wise Man. Check them out on their Facebook page and MojitoLatinSoulFood.com.
That's pronounced Mojito.
Yes, not Mohitan, as I keep wanting to mix Mojito and Latin together.
No, it's Mojito.
Mojito. Well, last week,
Just like that.
I decided to give the crew, mainly Ray, the week off since it was Easter Monday, and since we have a pastor among us, Holy Week surely kicked him in his patootie. So I hope you relaxed a little bit, sir.
Yes. This past week, actually, I had a little bit of downtime. It was nice. Thank you for the break. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Canteen has adapted to become more of an event space, at least for now, and are offering things like wine and charcuterie boards on premises. I believe they're still doing some snacky things too, but it's not a restaurant as of now. I don't know even when the full go-ahead happens if Claire will reopen it as a restaurant, but as of right now, it's not a restaurant. It's just you can go there with your laptops and whatever, get some coffee, get a beer, get wine. No mixed drinks that I know of, but they have wine, beer, and coffee.
Get a
And
little something to snack on.
and snacky stuff, and it's just a nice place, you know, to sit and like work on something if you need to, or sit out on the patio. That's especially right now because the weather is so lovely.
Perfect. Makes me wonder if she wasn't a dancer somewhere in her previous life, because they've certainly had to pivot a number of times.
They certainly have that, or a basketball player.
Well, that too.
Earl's has gone to a Wednesday through Sunday schedule due to unforeseen circumstances, which I'm pretty much sure it's a staffing issue. This is also true about Kampai Japanese Steakhouse as well, which is moving to a Tuesday to Sunday schedule only because of staffing issues. Real quick, Diamondback Grill is casual dining located in the heart of Buena Vista in Winston-Salem and is a fantastic family-owned farm-to-fork restaurant that sources most of its ingredients from local farmers. Ray, our friend Jeff Davids last week asked me about a place that he wanted to go that had local flair and was kind of fancy. He had some friends that he hadn't seen in 20 years that were coming from out of town. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, of course you got to go to Diamondback Grill. And I even told him, I said, you know what? I'll handle the reservations. And I called Kimberly on the phone and asked her about a 6-top. And she said, of course. And she got them in, and I got to pull up the text because Jeff had sent me a text the next day about how awesome it was. Let me pull that up.
And let me just, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that their experience wasn't awesome because the man who ate the town called to make the reservation.
Right.
That would have been their experience anyway.
Absolutely. It didn't hurt that the man who ate the town.
It didn't hurt.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you're Jeff. Yeah, we knew you were coming. Come on.
Yes.
We got a 6-top right here for you, just for you and your friends. Nobody else. Nobody. Just you.
Just you. I can't find it now.
Those newfangled phones, dang, they're so hard to find.
Well, I have so many.
Just because you communicate with like 10 million texts a day doesn't mean that it's hard to find.
Exactly. I can't find it right now, but he was gushing happy over it. He was happy. The friends said that they would come back from Ohio just to eat at that restaurant again because what they had they loved, but the menu looked so good to them that they wanted to try everything. Okay, so here it goes. It says, dude, Diamondback Grill did not disappoint. It was 100% on point. The whole party loved it, and we got comp hush puppies. I'm not sure if that's the norm. And their desserts were amazing too. Thank you so much. I figure you'll ask, so he ordered ribeye. His wife Linda had steak salad. His friend had mahi-mahi. His wife had lasagna. The 13-year-old child had trout. 8-year-old had cheese pizza, rum cake, and chocolate chip cheesecake for dessert. And they just they loved it. He said, my friend said they'd come back because the menu looks delicious, and they're from Ohio. So
everybody found something great to eat.
Yeah.
Even down to the 8-year-old saying, I want a cheese pizza.
Yep. And they put them in the bar side, even though, it's not, when you hear bar side, you think rowdy and unhinged, but that's not the way it is. It's actually more just a laid-back dining room as opposed to the formal dining room. Mm-hmm. The cafe is what she calls it. And Stephanie and I went there Friday night because as you'll hear in a little bit, I had a lot of burgers this week, and I decided I really needed a salad. So we went and actually had salads. I had a Cobb salad, and she had, I forget what kind of salad she had, but it was chopped greens and beets, I believe. So, yeah, I don't care about the beets, but it looked good anyway. But, yeah, just a good time. We actually sat at the bar for the first time. Actually, the first time the two of us have ever sat at that bar together. But we went the week before for burgers. So, yeah, it's good stuff over there at Diamondback. So, 751 Avalon Road. Check them out on diamondbackgrill.com and on Facebook and Instagram. Hong Kong King, from what I understand, and what I mean by that is I haven't been by there, and of course their Facebook page hasn't been updated since mid-2020. But supposedly, they didn't do it. It's one of those old fan pages, and someone else posted stuff on there. But supposedly the signs are gone. Now, I drove by there last week, and the open sign was on, but two people were sitting inside the vestibule blocking the usual exit door. And truthfully, I don't really pay much attention to that place because other than their Mongolian grill, which I loved, I don't like the food there. So I haven't probably been there in 6 years or more. So when I know for certain, I'll report. But as of now, just what I read on the all too knowing internet, they are not there. In the same,
It's a shame because the Mongolian really was good.
Yeah,
But
I
you're
love that
the,
Mongolian
The
grill.
buffet was okay.
it was
In much
generic.
better places.
Yeah, it was generic Chinese gunk, really. But
Yeah,
the
we have much
Mongolian
better
grill,
places for Chinese.
yeah, the Mongolian grill part was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
In the same parking lot that's Parkway Plaza, there is a padlock on the door of Monterey Mexican restaurant. I don't know about any signage in the windows or anything like that, but someone on a Facebook group said that it was a leasing issue. I'm not removing them from the list just yet because I don't know what's going on with it. I hope that gets resolved because, frankly, that's my go-to pseudo-Mexican place. You know, if I want authentic Mexican, I have places around town to go. But when I want that, you know, quesadilla Monterey, that's just queso cheese or cojita cheese or whatever they use, and chicken and all that stuff, and just want it, that's where I go. But the thing is, hands down, they have the best salsa in town. It's extra tomatoey. It's thick like a puree, but not chunky. It's a perfect amount of cilantro and onions. It has good spice. It's just fantastic. And I hope that they either come back there or, yeah, it's been there for
forever.
Yeah, it was a Godfather's Pizza before that, because I remember when I was in high school, which is over 30 years ago, we actually went on a field trip in the drafting class that I had, and we stopped at Godfather's Pizza on the way back. Actually, the tour that we went on, the field trip, was to R.J. Reynolds cigarette company, the cigarette factory, because it was an engineering thing, right? And yeah, some of what they're known for outside of cigarettes themselves. But we came back and we stopped at Godfather's Pizza, but it looked just the same inside without the Mexican accoutrement. So the way the restaurant looked was how it looked. So it was weird, but yeah, it's been there
The
for
place
at
is
least.
in need of it needs an update.
Well, yeah, and that may be part of it. It could be that the because you remember
what they're asking for.
Yeah, you remember Prince's on the Park. The reason that Mike closed that down was because it needed a lot of repairs, and the owner of the building wouldn't repair it. They wanted Mike to pay for it. He said, "I'm not paying for that." And so, rent's due. He said, well, it's not due for me. I'm out. And that's why he closed down. I'm sure he was ready to do some other stuff anyway, but the tap's been there for a long time, and I don't know what they did. Maybe the owners fixed it up once he left. I don't know. But back to the Monterey Mexican, it could be that there were some things that needed to go to it, and Parkway Plaza says, well, you fix it. Well, no, I don't own this building. And now if they had a triple net lease, then yeah, they're responsible for just about everything. But I don't know what the leasing terms were. So just the bottom line with that, I hope they come back. But
Yeah.
In the same parking lot, that IHOP that I mentioned a while back about closing is back open as an IHOP. So nothing else of, anything good will go in there for right now. If Hong Kong King is gone, perhaps they can fill that space with another restaurant of some quality. I hope so.
Well, the Big Lots came out of that same shopping center already.
Yeah, but it's
Is there something going in there?
something was in there, or at least no, it wasn't. There was another spot. Anna's linens had disappeared, and I think it's a Babcock something now. I don't know. Yeah, the Big Lots is open, but see, the thing is with the Hong Kong King, there's already a kitchen there.
Yes.
So, put something in there that, you'd have to do a lot of fixing and cleaning and who knows what else, in there. But
Truthfully, gut it, start over again. But there's a huge dining room.
Mm-hmm.
It'll support a large kitchen and a large dining room.
Yep. So hopefully something goes in there of quality, and it's in a restaurant and not just another
Not
retail.
buffet.
Yeah. Well, not even that, but I mean, I don't care if it's a buffet, if it's a good buffet. You know, if you're going to do it right.
Well, it was what, Country Roadhouse before that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I forget what it was before that.
I don't remember either. Yeah. And along those same lines, the Pizza Hut down the street on Peters Creek Parkway has closed, and the signage is all gone. There's a for lease sign in the parking lot. Even further down the street, the Peters Creek K&W cafeteria is closed for good. So it's an empty. Yeah. So it's an empty space there. Hey, Sabrina Wingo.
Yeah, no kidding.
Move Taste of the Triad to
that spot.
Yeah, move one to the south side and take over that building, please. It's already set up cafeteria style.
And that would be, the neighborhood would support her menu.
I believe so.
On a regular basis.
I believe so.
Man, that would be awesome to see her do that.
Mm-hmm. I would love to see her. I know there's tradition in the building she's in, but you know, I hear that the landlord situation there is not the best, and not even the landlord, but maybe some activity that happens there is not best, and I think it would just do her good to move out of there altogether. But she worries that, you know, she's become, again, because Bell Brothers was a staple for the community, and the clientele, you know, are they going to travel to the south side of town for that? So, I don't know.
Probably not, but she'd pick up a whole new audience.
True, but there's, you know, she has a connection with that community. She grew up in that community, I believe. So, it's hard to move, but I guess at some point you gotta think of the business over demographic, but at the same time she's built a relationship, and that's who supported her to allow her to even to get to this point. So it's a catch-22, I think. Washington Perk and Provision Company is located at 301 West 4th Street. You'll find a little bit of everything at the Perk. Chip Corner, deli to get your sandwich on the go, fruits, veggies, meat, and dairy from local sources, Bingo Bango sodas, Wolfie's Custard, a wall of beer and wine, and more. Washington Perk is better than a convenience store, not quite a grocery store. On Facebook, they're Washington Perk, or at Washington Perk, excuse me, at Washington Perk _DTWS on Instagram. So Harry's Empanadas Facebook page is gone. So it was just a call in your order and we'll make it and you pick it up kind of place. But it's, at least the Facebook and any reference to them on Facebook is gone. This is not just redirected like Caraba's page was this morning. I actually had to update that because the page was wrong. It didn't exist anymore. So I had to look them up and redirect. But this was not that case, because if you do a search, it just does not come up. So I don't know if he's done. I don't know what's going on. There was a bit of a dust-up on Facebook due to an article written by one of my food reporter friends about a taco place that was selling tacos from their house. I know that Street Team Steven has had their tacos before, but basically how it goes is you go to their house, you wait in your car in line. When it's your turn, you place your order and pay. They walk in their house and come back with your food. Now, my friend had written about it in a local alt weekly magazine. Soon after that came out, the place got shut down, and everyone was blaming the article. But actually, the complaint was not to the health department, but from the neighbors who complained about upwards of 200 cars a week or so coming through the neighborhood.
Oh, my goodness.
So I know the article was meant to help. I honestly believe that. And once they pretty much established that it wasn't because of the health department overreach, two different arguments started, mainly because people are addicted to outrage. They're not happy if they're not bitching about something. One argument was about the wording in the article, equating the experience like a clandestine drug purchase. which people said was in poor taste and blah, 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 blah. Now, let me say again, you go to the house, which is pulled from social media. You wait in your car in line. When it's your turn, you place your order and pay. They walk in their house and they come back with your food. Does that not kind of sound like a clandestine drug purchase operation? It wasn't, but, it kind of, she just meant that as a bit of flair to it, right? The other problem was people that were freaking out over how they were operating without inspection from the health department and all that. Many in-home bakeries and pop-up kitchens operate like this until they can get their legs under them. Say, get a grip. I'm sure all the bitching bitches have had these things from their friends before. Ever been to a potluck? Ever gone to a friend's house and taken something from your kitchen? Did they ask you for your inspection report?
Nope.
Grow up.
Never.
Grow up, people. It's stupid. I don't believe it was meant for a house. I don't think it was meant for the house operation to explode like it did. I think it's more supposed to be a way of fundraising money to get their truck going because that's what they wanted to do. They have started a GoFundMe page, which I contributed to get that truck on its way. My oldest nephew, actually graduated with the girl that's running this, and she is thankful to the paper for running the article. She thinks it was a good thing. It's also brought attention to the GoFundMe page. So if you would like to contribute to this GoFundMe campaign, go to the GoFundMe.com and look up El Sabor Tabasqueno, Tabasqueno, a food truck journey. The family, I believe, is from Tabasco, which is a region in Mexico. So that's the flavors of Tabasco is what El Sabor Tabasqueno means. So it would help the family out. They were well on their way to their goal whenever I contributed my meager amount. But I talked to my nephew, and he's supposed to get me in touch with her, so maybe come on and talk about it. I'm sure right now she doesn't want to say much, and I get that. But we'll go
talk about the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your plans.
This is from Leah. She contacted me this morning. Flower Box Tea Room has a new location, but they aren't saying where just yet. I don't know what it is about people in this town who want to keep everything undercover and clandestine. That's my word of the day, I guess. But I guess they just like the mystery. So when I find out where the teleportation of the Flower Box Tea Room is, I will I will tell you the secret password to get to it and all that other stuff when I find it out. The Beer Growler, as far as we can tell, is still closed, but they are selling their glasses. So I don't really know what's going on there. I think it's causing some confusion to people as to, are you relocating because that was the original plan? Or are you still closed? Or are you just selling the stuff off to get rid of it? Or what's going on? I don't know.
Buy the glasses and talk to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're interested, look up the Beer Growler on their Facebook page. It's still there. I think that's where Leah found it. Let's talk burgers. How about that?
Let's talk about those burgers.
Burger Tour 21 is well underway. Still breaking my 3-a-week rule right now. I don't know how many it is. Hold on, I'll tell you. Tell you how many's on the list right now. We are
I can
sitting.
Just hear it now. Pardon me, Father, for I've had 5 burgers. That's my limit this week.
Yeah. We are at 92 on the list. Yeah.
I'm predicting we'll hit 100.
Probably.
At this rate.
Yeah. Why not?
We were thinking 30, then 40, now
92. Yeah.
92 on the list.
So
yeah.
I have a lot to catch up with. So officially,
I'm going to say it's a really good thing you have a passion for burgers.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've always said that sushi's my favorite kind of food, but I think it's moved to that's my favorite splurge. My favorite food right now, I believe, is
Day
burgers.
in, day out.
Yeah,
Your go-to.
I could have one every day and not care. Like I said, I had to have a salad, but I had a burger that day, so and it was late. So that's probably why I had the salad. I wasn't necessarily just being a good boy, but it was, yeah. So this week officially, I had burgers from Kermit's. I say week, this last 2 weeks. Kermit's, Small Batch and High Point, Diamondback Grill, PB's, Big Burger Spot Guilford College, Big Burger Spot Kernersville, and there's another Big Burger Spot in Greensboro that I want to try. I think the original one. And the reason I am doing them all, we decided we're going to start pitting the multiple locations against each other. So both small batches are going to get tried. All three Big Burger spots, both of the hops are going to go against each other, and see how those work out.
So let's say you've got the two hops. Does just only the winning one get to stay on the list, and the other one has to
it could be both.
off?
It could be both.
They could both be on there.
Yeah, because I mean, where's the best burger? Right here and right here. Now, I've not had hops, so I don't know where they fall. But even if I did, I wouldn't give any indication of where they were going. So last week or week before, you tried to pull that off and squeezing some information out of me about, well, where did you have the best experience? Now, dude, I'm not falling for that anymore. So
I wouldn't try to do that to you. So the ones that you went to, were there any that you'd be like, oh God, I'm never ever going back to that place?
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me, won't get fooled again.
Can you blame us for trying to get a little bit of information?
No, not at all. I don't blame you for trying. Just don't blame me for not answering.
Did you have a good week of burgers?
They were. I had lovely flesh of cows and loved every bit of it. Whether I liked the burger or not, I loved that I was having it.
Well, that counts too.
Yeah. So I've already posted, like I said, in the local foodie boards on Facebook asking for recommendations, and I'm asking the same of my listeners. Where do you want me to try a burger for the list? Send me a message on Facebook or via the Man Who Ate the Town Facebook or tim@themanwhoatethetown.com. I want to, again.
Don't think that we've hit the exhaustive list yet.
No.
Send in your recommendations.
Yes, send them on.
100 burgers.
That would be a goal, wouldn't it? Whew.
I mean, you might as well go on for triple digit. You're just 8 places away. I mean, surely there's 8 more places we haven't thought of.
I'm sure there are.
I wonder what's going on in Summerfield.
No, I'm not going that far.
What's happening in Reedsville?
There's nothing that happens there.
Maybe Walkertown. Walkertown's a whole lot closer.
Well, Walkertown,
There
is, I think, something in Walkertown. Hold on, I will let you know.
I was going to say, there ought to be at least someplace. No, change. Yep, I'm counting that.
Yeah, there's nothing on there right now, but I'm sure there's something out there. And it could be that it's being clumped in with Winston-Salem.
Could be.
But, Poptown has 2 different things, and Rural Hall has 2 different things, and Kernersville has 3 different things. Clemens has 5 different things. So, Moxville 2, Yadkinville 2, and I have others. Huh?
Louisville?
I don't know. I think Louisville. I have an Advance. I have One King. I have Nick's and Welcome. I have Tucker's Grill in Hornytown. I have Thunder Road in Midway and Old 64 in Lexington. So I think the the Lexington, Midway, and Welcome might be all on the same day. I'm not going to rule out doing all three.
Yeah. Well, Tucker's Grill, I mean, if you're going to High Point.
And the small batch in High Point, you know, we were technically in High Point, but Stephanie's work, where I'm doing my video job right now, is right there off 68. So it's just inside that Eastchester 68 area. It's where Duck Donuts is down there. So
Yep.
So yeah. So it's technically High Point, but I didn't go to High Point. I was to me, I was still in Greensboro, which is bad enough because I hate Greensboro. But
yeah, the way High Point comes up 68 is a little misleading when you're driving through.
Yeah, exactly. All right, it's time for Getting in Your Business. And today we have with us from the Pufftown Kitchen, my friend who I know outside of Pufftown Kitchen. I will talk about that today, I'm sure. But Mr. Scott Burton, welcome to the show, sir. Not that one. This
Thank
one.
you
Not
for
that
having
one.
me.
This one. No, what the hell? I don't have it. There it is. This is the only one that's different from all the other ones that I have laid out. And I thought, well, it surely won't be the first one, but it was. So, sorry about that.
That's all right.
So, Pufftown Kitchen, how long's it been around?
We opened February 26th.
So it's still brand new, really.
So this iteration is brand new. In the past, it was formerly Bucky's Barbecue way back in the day. So same location, same people, so we just catering kind of took a dive. So had to balance things out somehow.
So is Bucky your dad?
No, actually, everybody always used to ask that. No, Bucky was my brother's nickname for my uncle growing up.
Okay.
And, so when they opened the restaurant up, I want to say the first iteration of it was in 98.
Okay.
It just had a nice little ring to it. So
now
went with that, and then, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, I was just going to say it was open for, several years, late 90s, and then catering started picking up and, just ended up kind of shutting the doors, focusing on catering. Reopened Bucky's in 2011. Yeah, either 2010 or 2011. And it was open for about 2 years. And, kind of the same thing. Wasn't making the money, and catering was picking up, and so we kind of had to do what was right financially. And so then this iteration, we were talking about opening before COVID hit. Was kind of working on exploring that option, and then COVID hit, so we put it on hold because I didn't feel right opening a restaurant with COVID already hurting so many other established restaurants.
Right.
So we held our own, catering, obviously family catering business, Rainbow Catering. That obviously everything was at a standstill due to COVID. Kind of started small things coming back in the fall, and then it shut back down. And so finally it just got to the point where it was like, all right, well, we don't have catering, we got to do something. And I had been, over the summer, I'd started kind of redoing the front here and just kind of working towards, because I knew we were going to open it at some point. Mm-hmm. So we just kind of jumped off and said, let's do it. Cool. And, unfortunately, I did not realize how hard it is to find good help or help in general.
Well, as we talked about in the news section, that's a theme right now. It's everyone is having a hard time finding help, and everybody wants to blame it on the unemployment and all this other stuff, and that may be some of it, But I believe, truthfully, that when the pandemic hit and people had to go find other jobs, that they realized, well, shit, I don't have to be on my feet all day. I don't have to worry about my back hurting. I don't have to deal with the public like that, and I believe that a lot of them just just moved on to something else. Now, again, there probably is some truth to some of the unemployment stuff, but you know what? That's going to run out. And a lot of it already has. They stopped paying me any. So, the truth is, they say I owe them some now. So I'm like, well, you still owe me some. So how do I owe you anything? But anyway,
yeah, no, I think there's a lot of truth to that, because I've talked to some people who I tried to get in here, and they were like, dude, I haven't worked in a restaurant since COVID hit, and I don't plan on going back. So there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah,
it's a hard industry. It's got to be a passion to be able to stay in it long term.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I've talked to literally thousands of small business owners over the decades. One of the things that I've heard consistently is that issue of trying to find good help. The number one solution, because a bunch of them did actually find a really good solution to finding good help. You pay more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just that simple. You offer somebody $1 more than what they're making somewhere else. Really? All right, I'm there.
Yeah.
And once you get the good help, pay them a little bit more too. And they're more willing to stay around, because then, they recognize you're taking care of them. You're being good to them. I mean, I know you're doing that already. So it's just it's part of the ongoing challenge of running a restaurant.
When you have good help, then that means people want to come see the good help, and more people come through. The challenge is finding the good help. Even when you're paying more, you're going to bring out of the woodwork the almost good help and the really, really not good help. So
you still have to have some discernment in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as the name suggests, you're in Pofftown. So it's Pofftown Kitchen. So for the Winston-Salemites or the Camel citizens that don't know much about Pofftown, because some of them don't even know where Pofftown is,
much less how to pronounce it.
Yeah, what's Pfafftown? So tell them where you are exactly.
So we are on Yadkinville Road. If you go down Reynolda Road and turn left onto Yadkinville and take it, mile and a half out, we are on the right. And if you blink, you pass through Pofftown and miss it.
Yeah. So it's between Chatillon and Transu. So
that's a lot simpler description.
Yeah, so if you're coming up from Reynolda on Yadkinville Road, you'll pass the very large cemetery on your right, where they're building that new, I guess it's going to be a funeral home or whatever it is, maybe mausoleum or something. But you pass that. That's where my father-in-law and brother-in-law are buried. So you go past that to Chatillon's the next light. You go through that, and you'll pass where the golf course used to be. Grandview Golf Course used to be there on your right, and the post office is there on the corner of Yadkinville and Transu. So if you go to the post office, you need to turn around and just barely, or just turn in there and then go back through the parking lot.
Yeah. No, we're in the shopping center, Grandview Center, right off of Yadkinville. It's kind of set off from the road, so it's easy to miss. But if you look for the U-Hauls and the car wash, just turn in the parking lot and here we are.
Yeah, because Schaus is there with their U-Haul farm, so you can always find it by that. So this is a food podcast. Enough about geography. So, what kind of food items does Puff Down, I know because I've tasted them. And no, I have not posted that because I was waiting until we had this conversation. So,
See, I thought maybe you just didn't like it.
oh, no, not the case at all. No, I was wanting to have this conversation first and then have something to go along with it. So it still might not be today, but it will be soon. So
Fair enough. So we pulled from, like I said, my dad started the catering business 35 years ago. Initially, when he started, it was barbecue. We're in North Carolina. You can't get away from it. So we went back to some of the old family recipes that he's been doing for the past 35 years. We've got barbecue, burgers, hot dogs, fried chicken, smoked wings, although those are on hold right now because there's a wing shortage and we have not been able to get a shipment in. Hopefully that'll change soon, though. We will be offering, we're going to start offering some other options as well, including brisket and pulled chicken. Actually, we'll be doing brisket this coming Saturday for the first day. Southern staples, mac and cheese, baked beans, pinto beans, homemade hush puppies. Trying to think. That pretty much sums it up.
yeah, I'm trying to find my pictures to go over what it was that I had. Snaps. Let's see. Okay, so I had the smoked wings, so I was lucky. I had the deep fried green beans, which was recommended to me from someone, and I'm not much of a green bean fan, but these were fantastic. The hush puppies, as Scott pointed out in our conversation, have no onion, but they're not the little brown turd looking things either. So they're these are actually little dough balls, and they had a fluffiness. They were still crispy on the outside, but they were fluffy and had a really good flavor that didn't need the onion. I like onions, so I don't care. But it was really, really good. The fried chicken I had the barbecue, I had mac and cheese, I had baked beans, I had the ribs, I had potato salad, I think. I had both barbecue slaw and coleslaw. And yeah, I walked out of there not liking myself. I still like Scott, but I didn't like myself very much.
A little sore, were you?
I don't know about sore. Bloated, I think, is a good
Bloated.
word for it. Yeah. But it was all really good. And, I gave my honest critique of all the stuff. I think I liked everything. There were some things that I liked better than others, and there were some things that I would have rather have seen. And I told him all those things. I mean, that's why he had me come out there, not just to blow smoke up his ass, but to actually, leave the smoke for the wings, and when they get to have them. And but yeah, I thought they have a winner there, so I'm recommending that people go there. So what? I think I may have asked you this, but what's your favorite thing on the menu, Scott? I know it's like asking which kid's your favorite, but.
So I'm an extremely picky eater, which I know, being in the restaurant industry, that's kind of weird. But when we were picking supplies and figuring out how we were going to do different things, I'll say the burgers are my favorite. I'm super picky about burgers. We chose a high quality steak burger, and when we got them and sampled them, I was just like, this is a winner. So my go-to is the burger or the grilled chicken sandwich. We've got a lot of good feedback on our ribs. I don't eat ribs, but
Why is that?
That's just me. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm just a picky eater. I like the flavor. I just, I don't know. I don't know if it's the texture or what, but no, we've got good feedback on it. Good feedback on the barbecue. like I said, I mean, the sauce that we're using for our barbecue is the recipe that my dad came up with 35 years ago, which I will go ahead and say this on air. One of your issues with our barbecue sauce that it was that it was a little too sweet. You're right, it was. That was a little miscalculation on the recipe.
Okay.
And that's been toned. I mean, it still has a sweetness to it, but we've toned it down a little bit. Yeah. So
I don't mind sweet. I just thought that was a bit too much.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was addressed and looked into and has been fixed.
Okay. Cool. Well, that means I gotta go try it again. And so I think I told you that day, but I have started the burger tour, and your name is on the list to visit. So I will be coming.
That's a separate visit.
That's a separate visit. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's already on the list to get by there and do that one, so I can put it in the ratings list. See how it stacks up to the others in the area. And this year is not just Winston-Salem. Last year, well, I say Winston-Salem, it was Winston-Salem and basically Yadkinville because Boondoggies won. So, but this year it's Greensboro, Kernersville, Pofftown, King, Rural Hall, High Point, and
Forsyth and Guilford County.
Well, not just that, because I mean Yadkin County and Stokes County, and so it's the surrounding areas. So we'll be tasting your burger, or at least I will. Stephen may come with me, but Street Team Stephen is one of our dedicated listeners who accompanies me on some of the burger excursions. So. He does a lot of stuff with us, so it may be one that he wants to go to. I don't say no because burgers are more fun with people and friends. So that's how it works.
I'm curious, Scott. When you reopened, you came in under a new name. Why not use the old family name?
Rebranding. I figured that we'd given it 2 goes with Bucky's Barbecue, and I just kind of wanted to just do something fresh. Redesigned the logo, redid the front dining area, and just wanted to give it kind of a makeover.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not just barbecue. so
Sure.
it's actually a good spread of different food. I mean, I know that you go to Mr. Barbecue, you can find burgers and hot dogs and chicken sandwiches and all that stuff, but people go there for the barbecue. And while people may come to you for the barbecue because they don't like to change things and they recognize that it's exactly the same place with the exact same people, at least the owners, that's probably why they'll come. But why pigeonhole yourself? Exactly. Yeah, I think if you're going to be a kitchen, be a kitchen. Be many things, and let the name indicate that.
Well, and it also allows us to kind of step out of the norm when you think barbecue and the like, and I'm sure we'll experiment with some things later on, and if we're doing stuff for catering, that might become a special, and do some extra and throw it on as a special. So, I mean, really, as far as the menu goes, this is kind of the core menu, but we're already looking at offering some different things and, finding that crossover. So,
well, it gives you a chance to be fresh and creative too.
Yeah.
So how much of the actual food are you responsible for outside of just owning the place? So how much of it is your baby?
Well, you already know the answer to that. I'm the.
But the listeners don't.
I can hold my own in the kitchen, but where my background comes from is in the business and marketing side of things. I'm finishing up my MBA right now. So really, I am handling the day-to-day behind the scenes. We've got a great chef that I brought in for catering end of last year that is kind of leading the charge in the kitchen, along with my brothers, who are both, in addition to their full-time jobs elsewhere, they're down here in the thick of it. So, over the summer and fall, I was holding my own in the kitchen when we had some catering pop up. But at the end of the day, my strengths, and I don't mind admitting this, my strengths are more in the behind the scenes and organization. So it's really a matter of getting the right people in place and putting trust in them and not trying to micromanage.
All of that is absolutely necessary for it to be successful.
Yep.
You can have the best kitchen in the world, but if the front of the house just falls apart, or the operation's not there's not the supplies, all those things, whole thing falls.
It's like a football team. You have three phases. You have offense, defense, and special teams. So you have to have, and they all have to work well for a team to be successful. You have front of house, back of house, and management, and all three of those have to work well, or you're going to have a failing restaurant. And I don't think that's the case here.
Well, you're smart to play to your own strengths.
Mm-hmm. So who comes up with the recipes then? Let me ask this then. How much is your dad still involved in this?
My dad signs off on. Okay, yeah, no, my dad signs off on everything. His health doesn't allow him to be here quite as much as he used to be. I mean, he ran the catering on his shoulders, like I said, for 35 years pretty much. And due to his health, he can't really be down here in the thick of it quite as much as he used to be able to. But when we were developing the recipes, developing the menu, nothing got added to that menu without him having his say. Mm-hmm. And him, I mean, out of respect, he's built this. I'm just trying to take it to the next level. I don't want to take it to the next level without remembering where it was started and where it came from.
Right.
So, as with any family, we're going to butt heads. We've butted heads, but at the end of the day, it's any decision made for what goes on the menu and what the final recipe looks like is between, my dad having final say, me and my brothers. I mean, it is truly a family operation with everyone having their input.
I kind of figured that answer was coming. That's why I reframed my question to how much is your dad still involved? Yes. Because I know if he's anything like my dad, even if we had a business together and he is at the age now that he's retired, he still wouldn't keep his hands out of it as long as he has hands. So I figured that was the same way, because most family businesses, even when the patriarch, matriarch, the arc family of the family, they step back, as long as they're still breathing, they're not going to let it go.
Exactly. Well, and I wouldn't want him to let it go.
No.
At the end of the day, we're where we are because of what he's built, and his ability to build relationships with people and his connections, and just if I take it and I run the total opposite direction, then we're dead in the water, and I realize that.
Yeah.
So
he still has something of value to contribute to the organization. Granted, it's his turn to kind of be big picture guy and get to just oversee and not have to do the day-to-day. He doesn't have to get into the middle of it. But yeah, he's absolutely still has much to contribute to the organization.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like I've booked some catering jobs that I'm going over the menus with him, and because he's done it for 35 years. I recognize that the experience is there, and I don't have the same level of experience. Even growing up in it, I was always in the back end doing the billing and the paperwork side of things, and whereas my brothers grew up more in the kitchen. hence why they're kind of here on the ground in the kitchen when we're open. So, we've all got a role to play, and I think that's really what's going to make or break this. But, if we'd done this 20 years ago when we were in high school, we'd already be closed because we would have killed each other. So.
Are you the youngest?
I am.
Okay. And which brother was it I met that day?
You met Adam.
Okay. And you have another one.
And then he has, there's actually Billy, who is his twin.
Okay.
And then my oldest brother is actually up in Maryland.
Okay. All right. So stepping away from the kitchen for just a second, and I know this is a food podcast, but we're going to talk about something else if you want to. If you want to tell me to not, we won't have to. But what's going on with the Forever is Tomorrow Foundation?
So the Forever is Tomorrow Foundation is somewhat on a hiatus right now. When COVID hit, it just, there again, didn't make sense to keep trying to get out there and work with patients.
So tell us what that is I know, but for the listeners.
Yeah, so the Forever is Tomorrow Foundation is a nonprofit that I launched in 2016 to raise awareness and support for kidney disease and dialysis patients. I did so because I've been waiting for a transplant for the last 18 years now. So I kind of am taking my own personal lifelong battles and trying to, turn them into a positive and try and help others. So we launched in 2016, kind of telling patient stories and through video, there again, using my background in video, built relationships with other organizations and advocacy networks across the country. And then right before COVID hit, I was actually having meetings to launch a kind of new local initiative. Then COVID hit and kind of pulled the plug on everything and to kind of go on a hiatus. That being said, kind of hoping that we're kind of hopefully to the point where we can start looking at doing things again. And so our hope is that by the end of this year, we can launch the initiative that was in the works pre-COVID.
Awesome. So whenever that gets closer and you're ready to do that, you got to come on the Less Desirables to talk about it.
Oh, of course. I will give you the scoop.
I appreciate that. So what else do our listeners need to know about the Poptown Kitchen?
I guess initially I should probably plug the hours since they are very limited right now.
Okay.
We are open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Primarily takeout. We've got a couple tables, but we are really kind of pushing takeout. Now, that being said, this Saturday, the 17th, we'll have kind of a one-off grand opening. We've partnered up with Schaus up the center from us, who are doing a yard sale in the morning with vendors.
I was going to ask about that because Tracy, who works up there, is one of the current co-hosts on the Less Desirables. So she was talking about that, and I said, okay, I got to ask him about it. So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, so they'll be starting with their yard sale about 8 a.m. We'll be opening the restaurant at noon and be open noon to 8 on Saturday. Like I said, we'll be having brisket on Saturday for the first time since we opened. And then that all kind of leads up to about 3 p.m. a cruise-in in the parking lot with a DJ spinning vinyl. Awesome. So it's just going to be kind of a nice day, get some activity in the parking lot in the shopping center, and it's a good day to try some food.
Oh yeah. And I have to say again, I'm not saying this because Scott's my friend. I'm saying it because I liked it. I recommend that people go make the trip to Poptown. It's not but 4 minutes out of town if you really want to get technical about it. And try Poptown Kitchen because the food is fantastic. So I think that you should go. That's what I say. So Scott, what's the address again?
It's 4683 Yadkinville Road.
And you have a website or Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, so we've got a Facebook and a website. Website is pofftownkitchen.com. It's got online ordering. You can look at our menu and order curbside pickup. You don't have to get out of your car. We make it as easy as possible. And then Facebook, it's facebook.com/PoffTownKitchen.
Excellent. And for those who are maybe not familiar, it's PFAFFTOWN is Pofftown. Pofftown. Scott, I really appreciate you being on, buddy, and I really wish you all the luck and hope that this weekend opens a lot of people's eyes and stomachs to good food, and that they tell their friends, and listeners of this podcast tell their friends, and everybody comes out there. I hope that you're so slammed you can't stand it.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah. So thanks again for being here, man.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Thanks again to Scott Burton for taking time to talk with us from Pofftown Kitchen. And I'm going to say it again. I know I've said it ad nauseum on this show, but I enjoyed my meal there. I enjoyed the food that we had there. I think that you will enjoy the food there. So go give them a little taste. Especially, go this Saturday. And if you go to Shouse and you see my friend Tracy, tell her I said hi. So let's do some food holidays in history, which are sponsored by Carrabba's Italian Grill, located at 587 South Stratford Road. This is no chain. This is a responsible family of restaurants. Carrabba's and their owner partners take the communities they serve very seriously. And for us, having Daniel Butner as a franchisee or proprietario certainly does not suck. Stephanie and I went there last weekend, and we each had pork chops. Her, one, me, two. And I have to say, I think those are the best pork chops in town. All their selections are always top notch. And we also tried bourbon barrel-aged white wine.
Ooh.
And they have a red wine that we're going to try next time we go. So if
That would be interesting. What'd you think?
Oh, we loved it. It was, you get a little bit of the char from the bourbon barrel, because that's what gives bourbon its color, is the charred barrel. So all that was really, really good. And paired with the pork chop, which is always delightfully seasoned, was fantastic. So if you would like to try the bourbon barrel aged wines, red or white, go in and ask Daniel about it and tell him that Tim sent you, the man who went to town sent you. Also follow Carrabba's on social media and at carrabbas.com.
And if you did just say Tim, Daniel would know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he would.
Do you know some guy named Tim? Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, I sure do.
I can see Daniel going, who?
To your face. Just
Yeah. I could be standing next to him. Do you know Tim? He's like, who?
Oh, this guy?
Never heard of him.
Don't know Stephanie either.
No, he knows Stephanie. He would say, yeah, I know her. Everybody wants to know Stephanie. They don't care about me. I'm kidding. They care about me.
They do.
So today is April the 12th, and it's National Licorice Day. One of your favorite things, Ray, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Favorite thing to give away.
Yeah. Here,
Take
have
all
one
the
of these.
liquors.
But on the other side of that, it's also National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day.
Oh, no, I want that.
Yeah. I told you the grilled cheese that we made that time, right? It was brie and what else was it? Brie and bacon, chocolate. Put chocolate on it.
Ooh.
And kind of berry something. I need to look that up. Maybe it was cherries. That's right. It was. I think we oven roasted some cherries.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'll look it up. And maybe repost it on the Instagram or something later, a little later. But yeah.
Yeah, we just got some brie. Send me that.
All right, I'll do it. On this day, William Procter and James Gamble in 1837 started making soaps and candles. What became Procter and Gamble. In 1872, on the 12th, France announced that it would permit the commercial sale of margarine. Yeah.
Give me butter.
Last time we had the show, we talked about United Fruit Company becoming Chiquita Banana. Well, on this day in 1949, they trademarked Chiquita Banana.
Finally.
In 1985, on this day, the 4 unicorns, and I put that in quotation mark, of Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus were declared to only be goats with surgically implanted horns by federal inspectors. The circus was ordered to stop advertising them as unicorns.
Oh.
In
1985, the unicorn myth died.
In 1988, the first U.S. patent on an animal life form was issued to Harvard scientists for a genetically engineered mouse. On that same day, Sonny Bono was elected mayor of Palm Springs. He wanted to be married.
Coincidence?
He wanted to be mayor. Maybe he was the genetically altered mouse.
He's a GMO.
He was small like a mouse. He wanted to be mayor because of his frustration over the red tape he encountered while remodeling his Italian restaurant. In 1990, on this day, 3 U.S. tuna canneries, Sunkist, Chicken of the Sea, and Bumblebee, announced their commitment to dolphin-safe tuna catching practices, which is good.
Yes, much better.
In 2000, Ben & Jerry's homemade ice cream is acquired by Unilever for $326 million.
Worth more than that.
I think so, yeah.
Ben and Jerry's. Come on.
Let's see. In 2020, 2001, Maryland banned the farming of genetically modified fish in any waters linked to other bodies of water. Okay.
So in other words, if it's a pond or a lake where it has no outlet, you can do it there.
Right.
But you can't allow it to get out into the main ecosystem.
True. 2020, on this date, Michigan stay-at-home now bans friends and relatives to visit. Many U.S. food banks struggle to do with unprecedented demand, worry about having enough food. In addition to coronavirus, East Africa threatened by second wave of locust plague, almost 20 times larger than the first wave. British bakers reintroduced World War II national loaf, a nutrient-dense whole wheat. How I feel about that.
Okay.
On the 13th, it is National Peach Cobbler Day.
But it needs some ice cream.
I'll go with that.
Some vanilla. It's good.
I have an email from a peach company that wants me to do a little honest opinion trying them, and I've talked to the young man who ate the town, or cooked the town, my son, to maybe come up with a peach recipe or something that we do.
Millions of peaches. Peaches for free.
You know, I have never heard that song that I know of, and Stephanie was singing that too.
You've never heard? Oh, you've got to go find it.
I'll
You
have
gotta
to
find
look.
it and listen to it.
It's Presidents of the United States of America. Yeah, I had to look it up, and I may have heard it, but it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah.
On the 13th, it is in 1748. I'm not about that day. I'm sorry for everyone listening. Usually I have these written down, but I am so swamped and behind I didn't get a chance to do that. So I'm just reading them off the websites that I get. So if it sounds a little disjointed, I apologize. In 1796, the first elephant to be brought into the United States arrived from Bengal, India. It was exhibited in New York, and its diet was described as 30 pounds of rice besides hay and straw, all kinds of wine and spirituous liquors, and every kind of vegetable. It will also draw a cork from a bottle in its trunk.
It's a drunk elephant. Yay!
Yeah.
I mean, if you had to be hauled off to the United States in a cage, I bet you'd be wanting to drink too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. In 1860, the first Pony Express mail delivery arrives in Sacramento, California. Or possibly not until 1 a.m. on the 14th, but we'll go with that. The trip from St. Joseph, Missouri took 10 days, as we talked about on the 3rd of April. In 1883, Alfred Packer was convicted of cannibalism in Colorado. Actually, he was convicted of murder since cannibalism was not against the law. He was sentenced to death, but was retried in 1886 and sentenced to 40 years. He was paroled in 1901 and died in 1907. I wonder what his last meal would have been.
Can I get some fingers, please?
Yeah. Can I have some?
No.
Can I have some Steve?
Don't bring me any of that Bruce anymore.
Yeah.
He's a little overdone.
Yeah, Bruce was overdone. Yeah.
Steve sounded pretty good the way you're going to marinate in there. Yeah, let's have some of that.
Yeah. And sorry, Street Team Steven, that was not meant for you. Steve's just my generic name for males and females for anything. So, sorry.
No Steves were harmed in the making of this particular podcast.
This particular one, no.
Yeah, just no telling what's happened before or what will.
Right.
Just right now.
Right. In 2008, the National Meats Institute in Uruguay organized a record largest barbecue, grilling about 26,000 pounds of beef on a mile-long barbecue grill using 6 tons of charcoal.
Mile-long grill.
Yes.
You'd have to have a lot of help.
I would love
it. You can't flip that fast enough.
No. And in 2008, I'm sure there's some really good pictures or video of that. I need to write that down and look it up later. In 2020,
some fun posting right there.
It would. In 2020, all 50 states are now under presidential disaster declarations for the first time in U.S. history. On the 14th, it's National Pecan Day. Not pecan, because you pee in a can. You eat pecans.
Yes, you do. In a pie, raw, baked, roasted, in chocolate, out of chocolate, doesn't matter.
Candied.
Love me some pecan.
You like candied pecans?
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love the flavor of pecan.
On the 14th, in 1828, Noah Webster published American Dictionary of the English Language with 70,000 entries, including more than 10,000 Americanisms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet the Brits like that. What are those Yanks saying?
Killing the King's English. In 1912, on the 14th, the British luxury liner Titanic struck an iceberg shortly before midnight. We'll talk more about that in the next entry. In 1927, on the 14th, Clarence Birdseye of Massachusetts received a UK patent for frozen fish fingers. Probably not Steve's.
No. They weren't Bruce's either.
On the 14th, In 1935, it was Black Sunday. A huge dust storm or black blizzard blew through the areas of New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas. It was one of the worst dust storms in U.S. history. It displaced an estimated 300 million tons of topsoil. Kind of along those same lines, in 1939, John Steinbeck, The Grapes of Wrath is published. The story tells about the Great Depression, tenant farmers, migrant workers, and the Dust Bowl in California. So, there you go. 1945, on the 14th, a malfunctioning toilet on a German U-boat forces it to surface off the coast of Scotland. Promptly attacked by a British aircraft, the captain scuttles the boat. And in 2010, on the 14th, eastern Australia is hit by a locust plague. The insects infested some 190,000 square miles, ravaging farmland, gardens, and grazing areas. So I believe that it was kind of rough going there.
I'm just trying to picture that.
I bet it was loud, too.
The last time I heard of a plague of locusts that big, Moses was in the background going, "Let my people go."
In 2020, on the 14th, and we witnessed this, maybe not on the 14th, but soon thereafter, some restaurants began selling groceries as an effort to stay afloat.
Yeah.
I know several of them that did here.
Didn't last for a really long time, but, they had supplies. They had to do something with them.
Yeah, why not?
They couldn't cook them, might as well sell them to somebody else. And so much of that was starting to be donated so that restaurant workers could be fed.
Right. Exactly. Ask Daniel.
Yeah.
April 15th is not tax day this year. It got moved to May 15th, I guess, or is it June 15th?
I think it was the 17th, but yeah, it's mid-May.
Okay. Yeah. I'm glad it's not the 15th. That's my son's birthday. It's National Glazed Ham Day.
Yum.
I like glazed ham.
I like ham.
I like all kinds of pork.
Yeah.
I don't usually talk about birthdays, but on the 15th in 1452, Leonardo da Vinci was born.
He had a little impact.
He had just a little bit to do with the things we do today. On the 15th in 1850, the city of San Francisco was incorporated. 1854, New York became the first state to fund a study of insects harmful to plants.
Okay.
In 1878, ivory soap was developed by Harley Procter. Air was whipped into the soap during production, which made it float. First sold in 1879, it was a huge success. In 1912, the night after it struck the iceberg, Titanic sank at 2:20 a.m.
I'm the king of the world.
And I'm still going to say it. I know we've talked about this before, and I've said it over and over. Rose, you're a selfish bitch. Scoot over and let him on the door.
You didn't have to freeze to death
That's
in
right.
the water.
That's right.
And then she threw the diamond down.
She wasn't that bright, I don't think.
Yeah.
In 1955, on the 15th, the first franchised McDonald's was opened in Des Plaines, Illinois, by Ray Kroc, who bought the hamburger restaurant owned by the McDonald brothers, or if you're to believe the movie that they made about it, stole it from them. On opening day, a two-patty hamburger was 15 cents and French fries were 10 cents.
If only.
Yeah.
Of course, it seemed, I don't know, somehow ironic that it was a Kroc that bought McDonald's.
Isn't it? In 1964, the 17.6-mile Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel opened to traffic, one of the 7 engineering wonders of the modern world.
And wonderings, I wonder how they did that.
Yeah, why? 1992, on the 15th, Leona, it was funny, it's tax day. She started serving her time in federal prison for tax evasion. She served 18 months. In 2020, several states see gasoline prices dip below $1 due to drastically curtailed demand, because nobody can go
was
anywhere.
driving.
Yeah. On the 16th, it's National Eggs Benedict Day.
Love me some eggs Benedict.
I do too. It's also Day of the Mushroom. Not to be confused with October 15th, which is National Mushroom Day.
That's different.
It is different somehow.
And we're talking about mushrooms that you prepare and put into your food.
Right. On this day in 1521, Martin Luther arrived at the Diet of Worms, and this was not the first fad diet. As we've discussed on this podcast, diet means meeting, assembly, gathering, and Worms was the town. Worms was the town in which they held this meeting. It was the Diet of Worms. Is that
Does
when
not
he
mean
did
what we
the?
thought it meant.
Is that when he did the, like, what is it, 95 theses or something, or theses or whatever they call it?
Yep.
Yeah,
Put 'em up on the door of the church.
yeah. In 1838, on the 16th, the French occupy Veracruz, Mexico during the Great Pastry War. Oh, in 1941, on the 16th, the original Elsie the Cow died. Elsie the Cow was originally a cartoon character appearing in ads for Borden Milk at the 1939 New York's World Fair. When people began asking where she was, they picked a cow originally named You'll Do, Lobella from their herd to be Elsie. Elsie starred in commercials, made personal appearances, and even starred in an RKO movie, Little Men. She was injured in a truck accident in 1941 and had to be put to sleep. She is buried in Plainsboro, New Jersey. Okay,
To think that a cow would get its own special burial plate.
I know.
So
Here,
strange.
especially. In 1956, on the 16th, on the I Love Lucy show, Lucy stomped grapes in Rome and wrestled with another female grape stomper. An inspiration for future food wrestling entrepreneurs, I think. Actually, this is one of the funniest sitcom episodes ever made, according to James Ealer. In 1996, on the 16th, a segment about mad cow disease was aired on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and later a group of Texas cattle ranchers sued Winfrey for her comments. The cattle ranchers lost that suit, by the way. In 2020, Busch Beer offers a year of free beer to 250 couples whose weddings were postponed due to the coronavirus outbreak. That is not compensation. Busch
Looks like
Beer,
there's nothing that would not.
no.
Bush doesn't have anything.
They should still have to pay me for taking a case of any of that Busch Beer crap. Also in 2020, protests in several states demand end to lockdowns already. Taneytown, Maryland reminds residents to wear pants when checking their mailboxes. And true, it really did happen.
There had to be a rash of more than just one. One guy forgetting to put his pants on and walking out. It had to be a bunch.
Yeah. All right, on the 17th, it's Malbec World Day, and that's the purple grape used in making red wine. I love a good Malbec. It's also National Cheese Ball Day.
Love a good cheese ball.
Oh, who doesn't? Especially the port wine ones that have the
With the nuts and bacon crusted on the outside.
on April 17th in 1629, the first horses were imported to American colonies by the Massachusetts Bay Colony. On the 17th in 1790, Benjamin Franklin died. In 1810, Lewis Mills Norton of Goshen, Connecticut was issued the first patent for pineapple cheese. It wasn't pineapple flavored cheese. It was the popular cheese was sold in blocks shaped like pineapples.
Ah, okay. I was going to say, I can kind of see the two going together sometime, but pineapple cheese?
Yeah. In 1917, the first Del Monte brand national advertisement appeared in the Saturday Evening Post. In 1958, the Brussels World Fair Expo opened in Belgium. The overall theme was a worldview, a new humanism, and it was the world's first major fair after World War II. 1979, the Swedish brand Absolute Vodka was first exported to U.S. SpaceX in 2015. Yeah, it's stuff like the musical at Catered Fair opened. Anything that mentions food, he talks about, and I just try to skip over some of that. SpaceX supply ship brought grocery supplies and an espresso machine to the International Space Station. So, espresso. I see what they did there.
ISS.
In 2020, Land O'Lakes Butter decided they were going to remove the American Indian Maiden on its butter box, which had been in use since 1928. The logo has long been criticized. In 2020, more than 22 million Americans have lost their job in the last 4 weeks. Japan extends state of emergency to the entire country. And the 18th, it's National Animal Crackers Day.
Yes.
Dig it.
You bite the head off or the legs off first?
I just eat the whole damn thing. That whole animal goes disappear in my mouth. In 1868, California issued a charter for the San Francisco Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, the fourth SPCA in the United States. In 1895, New York passed a law establishing free public baths for promotion of public health and comfort. I doubt either one of those came from that.
Yeah, when I need to take a bath, I'm really not looking for that to be a public event.
Nope. In 1895, that's wrong. In 1904, that's wrong too. 1906, San Francisco was hit by a devastating earthquake at 5:12 a.m. In 1907, the Fairmont Hotel reopened in San Francisco 1 year after being severely damaged by the earthquake of 1906. London Bridge in 1968, originally constructed in 1831, was sold to Robert P. McCulloch of McCulloch Oil for $2.6 million. It was taken apart and reconstructed in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. I believe that was the third London Bridge that existed.
And then they just put a new one in its place.
Yeah.
The London Bridge was moving now, moving now.
And having spent a few days in London, I saw that, what everybody thinks is the London Bridge is actually not the London Bridge. I forget what it's called. I know there's a Tower Bridge that kind of looks famous, but it's not the London Bridge that we all think of. In 2010, in Prospect Harbor, Maine, the last sardine cannery in the United States closed. The Stinson Seafood Cannery was built in 1906 and had been owned by Bumblebee Foods since 2004. So I guess that's all imported now.
Doesn't matter much to me. I'm not eating it.
Yeah, I've never had one that I know of. And my friend Eugene will just roll the thing back and eat them.
Yeah.
In 2020, protests and controversy over when to reopen state economies happens. Stock market continues to rise. crude oil prices at an 18-year low, which is below $19. Whew, that was a chore. So that's your food holidays and history for this week. Special thanks to James Ealer at foodreference.com for making us chuckle, roll our eyes, discuss pineapple-shaped cheese that you may or may not want to eat with sardines. And, and it's grilled cheese day this week.
And pecan.
And pecans. Yeah.
Not pecan.
Not pecans. The Man Who Ate the Town podcast is part of the Less Desirables podcast network. Along with this podcast, you can listen to the Less Desirables, the Beer Dads, Fan Interference, Beeswax, Violent More, Wheeler's Dog, and Asylum Tales from the Devereaux Diaries podcast. You can find all these podcasts and their latest episodes on our network website and directory, tldpodnetwork.com. You'll also find social media links to each one there as well. This is a reminder to all the listeners, and it's good practice, not just now, but for always. Wash your damn hands. Wash with warm water and soap. Wash with that soap for 20 seconds or more. And if you don't know how long 20 seconds is, well, sing this.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home.
I've not been to West Virginia in almost 8 years. Almost 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I used to go many, many times a year. Now I don't. I have family still up there, but they all come down here, so I don't need to go up and see them.
The album Poems, Prayers, and Promises, released in 1970.
Yep.
One of my favorite Denver albums.
And this that was released in 1971 on this date. That song, that single.
And truthfully, that song is not one of the best songs on the album.
Well, you know, it always has a place in my heart because I am from West Virginia. And like I said, I've not been there in almost 9 years, but I still have. And even though I don't agree with most of everything that happens there, I still have a place in my heart for it.
Yep. I feel you. I've been through. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
But it's been a while since I've been back.
So, keep an eye on the blog and this podcast to find out more about food news and happenings around town. If you have any food news, send us an email at Tim or Ray at themanwhoatetown.com. Don't know exactly what Leah's status is. You can still send her one if you want to, Leah at themanwhoatetown.com. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter instant messengers. You can like us on Facebook. On Twitter, we are manwho8thetown. On Instagram, we are manwho8thetown. And now we invite you to call and leave a voicemail on the podcast. Actually, any podcast on the TLD network. You can call 336-422-6862. That's 336-422.
No.
I don't know why, because you do that and Bethany on the Less Desirables do that, and both of you, it's just a fun word to do that to, I guess.
It is. It's kind of like if you're in that place of, hey, I've become comfortably numb. It's like, no.
Yeah. So it's 336.
But all the energy you can muster for it.
That's right. You're numb. 336-422-6862. So again, thank you to Scott Burton for coming on to talk about both Forever is Tomorrow and Poptown Kitchen. So go try some burgers up there in the next little bit. Maybe not today. Definitely not today, but soon. And
for the rest of your life.
I will report back. So, my name is Tim.
My name's Ray.
And we are closing this loud-ass recipe box. You know, that sound, I guess we have to open it first, right? And then to close it, can you imagine your fingers being... You would lose the tip, I'm sure.
Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum. You might lose multiple.
Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you for reading and thank you for listening. Bon appetit.
Yamas.
The views and opinions stated by me or any of my guests are solely those of ours and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of our hosting companies, distributors, enemies, friends, or relatives. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced or distributed without express written consent of the man who ate the town, that's me, and Such Limited Inc. However, if you ask nicely, we'll probably let you.